What is up, guys? Ivan here with getivan.com, and in this video I wanted to show you guys a neat little method that I've developed for creating quality keying around text like this right here. I've done some tests with chroma keying using green screen, blue screen, and for some reason the black background with this particular trick seems to work really well. It allows me to get more appropriate color blending, and there's a whole lot of explanation that goes into that, and many hours of testing trying to get things right. But I've gotten this down to a pretty reliable methodology to where now I can just copy paste it from other text features. So I wanted to demonstrate on a new text feature that I've already prepared here in After Effects. So here's my image for Judgment's True. Turn the blending mode here to screen, the window resolution preview or whatever it's called here on 1/3 resolution, and then over here I've also got the playback preview on 1/3. Let me turn I also have it on skip 1 frame so that it plays back quickly and I can preview things properly. After I add this to screen on the image, I duplicate it and I make one for silhouette luma. Now if I hide this here, you'll see what it looks like. It's like a silhouette of the actual text if the background is black. And that's helpful here because it creates a backing for the screen effect on the text that seems to work really well, coupled with, those blacks and grays and things like that. Create 7 or 8. So I'll be like, see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I found that about 7 of them works pretty well by itself. I have an 8th one here where I set this one back to normal, and I just go to my effects, and you can take a look at the settings for it in just a second here, but let me copy those and then go back to my full composition. And after I've copied the effects, I'll just select that bottom layer, and it has to be the one on the bottom, and then paste. The settings for the chroma key work really well. Like if I turn this off, this is all the silhouette layers, right? Shift click onto the silhouette layers and turn those off. You can see the screen effect. So there's a pretty big difference, and it takes you a pretty good amount of the way. So let me turn those back on, and then let me turn the keying effect. Now, if I turned all the silhouettes off and just had the keying effect, it still does a lot of it, but there's a lot of whitewashing, which, you could do color correction and stuff like that, but it's a lot easier to just add silhouette backings. You can see a little bit of black line there, but when I show you the preview on full resolution, it should mostly be out of there. It'll vary a little bit depending on the text that you use. Most of the time, it's very high quality, like resolution without any random artifacts that are significant. I use a color range for the keying effect, the fuzziness to 0, and then these two features to 0. That's selecting black background, right? And then here on the key cleaner, you can access these here under effect keying. So there's the color range here and the key cleaner here. And just as a disclaimer, a lot of the tutorials online, they go into the key light plugin and the advanced spill suppressor. And that works for some things, but I've spent many hours tinkering with those features, and a lot of the times with really simple stuff, it's just the color range and the key cleaner that you need. You can get similar results across a variety of the effects. It just takes longer. Like this is copy paste, So the key cleaner at 25 edge radius, and then the alpha contrast at 100. And sometimes you need to drop this to 0, and you'll notice, you see there's a drop in the saturation or the fullness of some of the parts. Sometimes I'll just drop this to 0, undo, redo, and just kind of compare. You might need to increase or decrease the edge radius. You see there we lost some of that richness in the text. There's something about this 25 that works really well. I've got that in there. Another thing I need to do is add a glow. So I'm going to copy this glow, go back to the full composition, paste it here. Already looking pretty good. And the glow effect actually kind of washes out a little bit any small amount of silhouette bleed. And let me set this to, let's say 2, maybe 3. So that's pretty good. And this glow effect is unique, by the way. If you're interested in this, you can see the glow threshold 85, glow radius 40, intensity 3. But what makes a difference here is we've got screen glow operator calibration, and then I actually set A and B colors. The default for the glow is original colors, but it goes around the image and it oftentimes adds a variety of hodgepodge colors. And so it's better to just use the teardrops here to select two of the key colors that are straight in the fonts. So in this case, it's like gold or honey. So I grabbed like one of these more orange colors and one of these more golden colors, which are pretty consistent across my texts. And that creates a much more consistent glow effect. Let me see if I can preview. If I go to original colors, you can kind of see like there's a little bit of range there where it's now going across different orange and yellow features, which you might prefer for some effects. But in this other one, it's a lot more subtle. It's cleaner. It's certainly stronger on the other one, but when you look at it, you can see here there's like this sharp orange bleed on the edge. There's also sharp here, sharp here. So I've just kind of found that this one is a lot more consistent. It keeps the colors consistent. And then doing triangle BAB. After I finish the stack there, I select all these, right click, go to pre-compose. So this one is judgments true. Move all, adjust the composition, and you want to make sure that before you pre-compose, it's exactly where you want it to be. So make sure that you do that on the first layer, that it's adjusted to exactly the time frame, because it just makes it more convenient. So then I'll save that, and then once it's pre-composed, it'll mess things up. So you have to go to the line where it has this little starburst, this collapse transformations, and click that, and boom, it puts you where you want to be. So let's go ahead and preview it under full resolution, taking a lot longer. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So you can see some of the silhouette bleed through actually got corrected, because when you're on lower resolution, it'll be a little fuzzy, but on full resolution, it's really sharp. And so that is surprisingly rich, high quality resolution. I see a little bit of bleed right there. In terms of being able to come from a black key, which I prefer, like in some of the tests that I've done, I just could not get it to work with blue or green. Not saying it's not possible. It just, depending on what you're using, especially like with video where things are like semi-animated around frizzy hair, like I tried to get with this chick here. I spent like 12 hours trying to chroma key this chick, and her frizzy hair made it absolutely impossible. And so I had to actually come from a black background inevitably in order to get this to work. Despite what you hear about green and blue, it turns out that keying on black is actually really effective with this neat little trick. So once you create a profile like I just showed you guys, then you can just copy paste it from your other stuff and things. And as you can see, it works pretty well. So before I continue, let me go ahead, before I end this video, let me go ahead and start this at the beginning. I don't have an opacity thing, but set. But actually, you know what? Let me do that real quick. Judgment's true. The reason it's important to pre-compose is because then it lets you do effects on the entire composition instead of having to select the layers in batch, which is just, and then have all that messy, noise in your main timeline, right, for the primary. I'd set the keyframe there, and actually, I find it useful to zoom in to make sure that things are lined up appropriately, which they should be. I guess I can, oh, here it is up here. The sneaky little thing. Now, oftentimes they'll do it like this, one frame overlapping when you insert it. So I can shift it over a frame. I do want to shift this over a frame. So I'm going to do that at 0. I'm also going to do scale, hit 0 here, right here, and go 100 opacity. Scale should probably be 80. Going to the end here, 0 here, have it play. And they say judgment's true. And it might seem like a bunch of mess, but that's actually way faster than it can take. It took me probably a few dozen hours or something like that to figure out that combination of screen and silhouette and the exact right formula for keying. And now I can just copy paste that in everything I do. So thanks for watching. I will catch you later. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you. Bye-bye.